Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated is proud to present the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBO Welterweight Championship of the World. Sponsored by Tecate, Cerveza con Character, and Affliction. Sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission, Chairperson Melvina Lathan. WBO President Francisco Paco Barcarcel. Supervisor and Championship Committee Chairman Luis Batista Salas. At ringside, the three judges scoring this bout, should it go the distance: Glenn Veldman, Carlos Ortiz, and Steve Weisfeld. And inside the ring, your referee in charge of the action, Benji Estevez. And now, for the thousands in attendance here at Madison Square Garden and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Fighting out of the blue corner, wearing red with gold, officially weighing 146 1/2 pounds. An outstanding professional record. 34 victories, including 16 knockouts and only one defeat. From Chorley, England, the WBO #2 ranked welterweight in the world, Michael the Lurcher Jennings. Fighting out of the red corner, wearing black with orange, official weight 146 pounds. Professional record, 32 victories, including 26 knockouts, only one defeat. He's the WBO #1 ranked welterweight, the former light welterweight and former welterweight champion of the world, de Caguas, Puerto Rico, Miguel Cotto.
Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Good luck to both of you. Touch them up.
So Miguel Cotto's first fight in 208 days since the loss to Margarito. This is his 10th championship fight. For Jennings, his first.
The early part of this fight, very important for Michael Jennings. He's had a mixed bag of starts. He's been knocked down in round one. He's also had some very impressive starts in the first round. For him, the question is, can he handle this moment and can he land enough punches to gain respect from Miguel Cotto without getting into a big brawl?
A stat that I found very interesting looking at the research, Miguel Cotto has only one first-round knockout of 26 that he's had in his career, which tells you that he's a very intelligent fighter. He doesn't go out there and look for it. He just likes to study his opponent and feel him out.
26 of his 32 wins have come by knockouts. Only 16 of Jennings' 34 wins have been KOs.
Jennings unleashing a right hand. For Michael Jennings to win tonight, he must land right hands. If he doesn't, he will not win this fight. It's the punch you can land against Cotto. Shane Mosley landed it, and other fighters have. It's the one punch you've got to throw.
And you can't help but wonder what might be going through the mind of Cotto, having suffered the first and only loss of his career last July.
I think the matchup was very well made in terms of putting him up against the #1 ranked contender for over the past 18 months, as opposed to putting him in there with a top-notch fighter per se, because Michael Jennings has been there for so long, but he really hasn't beaten anyone to get to this point. So he's got a lot to prove here at Madison Square Garden tonight.
Bernardo, as he was saying to you before the fight tonight, he really hadn't seen very much of Michael Jennings.
Miguel historically hasn't been one to watch much video as it is, but even had he wanted to, it would have been impossible.
Obviously, a very tactical first round by Jennings. That's the first left hook of consequence that Cotto has thrown. What's been landed here in round one has mostly been from Cotto, but Jennings has really used this as a tactical round to get his sea legs under him.
Missing with the left uppercut.
We had talked about how big this ring is, and that's going to be to the benefit of a boxer who moves a lot like Michael Jennings. Obviously, he's using every inch of it so far in the first round, but Miguel Cotto knows how to cut off the rings. He works well in terms of his footwork and angles, so Michael Jennings really has to think twice about trying to use his tactic for the full 12 rounds.
The end of round one, and we take you into the corner of Miguel Cotto. Our interpreter tonight, Rafael Hernandez.
Good job for the first round, Miguel. Good job. Breathe in. You cannot overlook his right hand. Your jab is a lot better than his. Breathe.
Don't leave yourself on there. Throw and then out. Smacking on first. Let him throw on, just keep him on balance all the time. Right, you feel okay? That's it. Come on, he's trying to go. Come on, stay there.
Your impressions of round one, Al?
You know, I think Miguel Cotto fought a controlled round, as did Jennings. He landed 12 punches. Jennings only landed 4. Clearly it was a Cotto round, but one in which I think he wanted to get off to a tactical start as much as Jennings did after coming back from that devastating loss.
Only one shot of consequence, a left hook to the body by Cotto.
One of the very interesting things that Cotto talked to us about was the fact that he was surprised by how people reacted to his loss to Antonio Margarito, and rather than turn their backs to him, they really offered him their support and their love, both in the Isle of Enchantment and elsewhere, and that really caught him off guard because he expected people to maybe relish in his defeat, but he found the complete opposite, and that really helped him to get over it.
And of course, obviously an outpouring of support in this crowd for him. You know, they gave a great piece of advice to Cotto in the corner. Do not forget about the fact that Jennings can land that right hand. They are keenly aware of the fact that that's the one weapon that Jennings will want to try and use as Cotto comes in.
Miguel had no problems making weight this time around. He weighed in at 146. He said he was 9 pounds less than the maximum allowed for the 1 month pre-weigh-in. 1 week ago he was at 150, and when he came to New York he was at 149 already for this 147-pound bout. And that really talks to you about the dedication that he put forth, and defensively he's doing quite well against Jennings, who really seems to reach out with those punches, and that could be dangerous on a counterpunch.
Now there's the left hook by Cotto. The only time that he has lost Jennings against young Muttley, he was hit with a lot of left hooks, and of course that is the signature punch for Cotto. There's a nice right by Jennings. That's the punch he's trying to get in.
Interesting, because each has the antidote to the other's strength. Cotto's left hook is the antidote to the right hand by Jennings, and vice versa.
And the size of the ring working to the advantage of Jennings with his lateral movement. Attempting to keep out of harm's way, but gets tagged with a left.
And of course, at some point, Jennings is going to need to engage enough to land something of consequence. But for now, this is keeping him in the fight and giving him an opportunity.
Very interesting, because the dilemma that faces Jennings is, do I move to my left and go into what theoretically is the stronger punch, which is the right of Miguel Cotto, or do I move to my right and make myself vulnerable to the left hook? He's got no way.
That's an easy choice for me. If I'm Michael Jennings, I want to stay away from that left hook of Cotto.
As we mentioned, Cotto is a natural southpaw.
Very much in the vein of Oscar De La Hoya, whose left hook is very privileged. Such is the case with Miguel Cotto. And some fighters just get caught off guard by just how hard he can land that body punch.
Couple of lefts. And one more to end round 2. And so Miguel Cotto on the comeback trail. And in Youngstown, Ohio, so too is Kelly Pavlik. His first fight since being beaten by the executioner, Bernard Hopkins. Marco Antonio Rubio. That fight follows ours.
Try and break his rhythm up when he takes you to the ropes. Just spin off him. Come off him all the time. Keep that long range. This fellow gets tired. Right? Hands up high. Don't fall into it. No.
Miguel Cotto wants to land the left hook. And there is a good example of that hook on the inside. That was one of his best in the last round, along with some to the body as well.
Round 3.
Michael Jennings has had to face a lot of adversity in his life. His brother, when he was 5 years old, died of leukemia. That was Stephen, and then his brother Raymond of a heroin overdose. And just recently in October, he was actually stabbed along with one of his bandmates. And he's actually the drummer. Ned Hardy passed away after that attack over there in Manchester, England. So really a situation where there's been a lot of tragedy in his life. And he said that's made him stronger, because there's nothing that can happen to me in the ring that is worse than what I've lived throughout my life.
Tough young man, there's no question about that. And here in this match, Jennings is looking for a certain rhythm, and to some degree he's found it better than I think some might have suggested. He's holding on the inside when Cotto gets in. I don't think Jennings has won either of the first 2 rounds, but he's established, at least for himself, using a lot of jabs and some straight right hands. Now Cotto clearly landing at a better rate, landing 3 times as many punches as him.
That right was blocked by Cotto.
As long as Cotto keeps that left up and can come over it like he did there with that solid jab, he's going to be in business. He's doing well to cut off the rings, but Jennings on his motorcycle is taking turns around the ring. I don't know if he had his nose bloodied there momentarily.
You know, Miguel Cotto had defensive liabilities early in his career. He's improved dramatically in the last couple of years as a defensive fighter as he's moved up to the welterweight division. And we see some evidence of that here tonight as Jennings is having a hard time landing.
Jennings, a fighter who likes to be on his toes. That's where he feels most comfortable. That gives him the mobility, the ability to switch direction on the spot. But Cotto is stalking him across the ring.
Well, the welterweight division historically has always been one of the glamour divisions, and these days it's no exception. Cotto wants to get back with the big boys with an impressive win tonight.
He said that he needs to win convincingly. He wants to make his mark with the win here tonight. And then presumably if he would get a win, Shane Mosley would be in his sights. The man who beat Margarito would beat him. So far, Miguel Cotto is performing very well, though in a controlled manner.
A very Duddy-like fight, if you might. I mean, he's just
never thought you'd use that phrase, did you?
Only tonight. I don't think we'll use it again, but he's doing things at a very measured pace, and what a solid left hook there by Cotto.
Has won each of the first 3 rounds, so let's go to his corner. Once again, Rafael Hernandez is our interpreter.